and said to you, "O Hafsa, mali wa dunya, what am I going to do with this dunya?" "O Hafsa, do you not know أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان مغفورا له ما تقدم من ذنبه وما تأخر أمسى جائعا وركض ساجدا ولم يزل راكعا وساجدا وباكيا ومتضرعا في آناء الليل والنهار إلى أن قبض الله برحمته ورضوانه لا أكل عمر طيبا ولا لبس لينا فلو أسوة بصاحبه." "O Hafsa, do you not know that Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم was free from sin, and in spite of this, the day he would spend in starvation and the night he would spend in prostration, and this is how Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم remained till he left this world." And he said, "لا أكل عمر طيبا ولا لبس لينا فلو أسوة بصاحبه." Umar will never eat good food, he will never wear good clothes. He already has two beautiful examples before him, the example of Rasulullah and the example of Abu Bakr before him, and this is what he will follow, and that's how he remained till he died. And in spite of the fact, my young friends, this is how he lived. You know, the remarkable thing is, after this, you know, when him and his friend Sayyidina Abu Darda, and they were very close and near to each other, you know, when they would meet up and they would sit and they would remind themselves of the hadith of Rasulullah, لِيَكُنْ بَلَاغُ أَحَدِكُمْ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا كَزَادِ الرَّاكِبِ, that one of you should only have as much as a traveler has with him in this dunya. This is as far as it goes. You know, when they would remind themselves of this hadith, tears would begin to flow from the eyes of Abu Darda and Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, in spite of the fact that this is how he lived, that they would begin to say, "Maza fa'alna, maza fa'alna." Look at what we've accumulated, look what we have communicated. You know, to blend this talk in with today's theme, you know, it wasn't food and drink that concerned Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala. You know, what concerned Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala was none other than the condition of the believers. I mean, just one narration comes to mind. On one occasion, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala saw Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala running. And he asked, "O Amir al-Mu'mineen, why are you running today?" So Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala responded, "The reason I'm running is because one of the camels of the public treasury has run away, and I'm going to catch it, I'm going to find it." Sayyidina Ali said to Umar, "Umar, you have tired the leaders that are going to come after you." Meaning, you have set such high standards that whoever becomes the Khalif or the Amir, they will never be able to compete with you or follow your example. It's too high. And he turned around, listen very carefully, my friends, he turned around and said to Sayyidina Umar, "La tulumni ya Abul Hassan." Abul Hassan was the kunyat and the title of Sayyidina Ali. He said, "La tulumni ya Abul Hassan." "Oh Abul Hassan, don't blame me." Why? "I swear by the one that I sent Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with prophethood, if so much as a lamb was to fall inside the river, Umar will be responsible for it on the day of judgment." You know, if this was the concern Umar had for an animal, for a lamb, that he felt that if a lamb was to die in the river, wander off on its own accord, fall inside the river and die, Umar would be responsible for it on the day of judgment. What do you think his concern was for the general believers? Narration after narration. If you open the historical books, my friends, we don't have time, and I want to conclude. You know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even really want to do this talk, because I don't see why. This is not the objective. But because they've advertised, and you know why they advertise my name is because they feel nobody will turn up if we say, you know, if we were to just put down the charity's name. You know how sad it is. Where's our level of our iman? That millions and millions and millions of our brothers are suffering, are dying, and we need to use these tactics just to gather the believers. You know, the halat, my friends, look, Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, if you open these narrations, every day, he wouldn't sleep during the nights. In case some believer is suffering somewhere, he would patrol the streets himself. On one occasion, Awza'i relates, Talha happened to see that he's gone into one house, then a second house, and a third house. So next morning, he wanted to see why Umar is going to these houses. Is he up to something no good? He went into one of the houses, and you know what he saw? He saw a blind, disabled woman. And he asked this blind, disabled woman, "Why did that man come to you last night?" She responded, "Never mind last night, this man has been coming to my house for years. He is the one that looks after me. He is the one that provides me with my needs. He is the one that takes care of me and takes the filth outside my house." Another narration, Zayd ibn Aslam. He says, we were with the Amir al-Mu'mineen making our rounds. We happened to get to a place called Salah, just outside outside Madinatul Munawwara, the outskirts of Medina. And there he saw a woman, there were some children sitting around her and they were suffering and they were crying. And this woman had the fire, there was a pot on the fire and she was cooking. So Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala asked her, why are these children of yours crying? She turned around to Amir al-Mu'mineen, not knowing that this was the Amir. She turned and said, look, my children are suffering from starvation, they haven't eaten. And I'm pretending to cook, there's nothing inside this pot but water. No, there's nothing inside this pot but water. You know, my friends, this narration that I'm relating to is, is good 1300 years. Yeah? People like me couldn't imagine, things like this must be happening in the world. There are thousands of our mothers that are doing this, that are pretending to cook just so that their children can sleep. So, and then the woman said to Sayyidina Umar that there's only water inside this and Allah will judge between me and Umar on the day of judgment. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala said to my sister, how could Umar know that you're suffering like this? She turned around and said, okay, he's taken the responsibility of being the Amir and can't he keep himself acquainted with the affairs of the people? Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu began to shiver. Immediately he went back to Madinatul Munawwara himself with his servant Aslam, went to the Baytul Mal, took out the ghee, the dates, the meat, and told Aslam to load them on his back. Aslam said, "O Amir al-Mu'mineen, I'm sufficient. I'll carry them for you." Look what he said to Aslam. He said, "O Aslam, you'll carry them for me now. Will you carry my load and my burden on the day of judgment?" As Umar carried the load himself, and then he came and he gave it to this woman. And not only did he give, he sat there. Whilst this woman was cooking, Hazrat Umar was taking care of the children and helping. Hazrat Umar only left when these children had eaten and there was a smile on their face. And when Hazrat Umar was on the verge of leaving, this woman said to him, "You know what? You are more fit to be the Amir al-Mu'mineen than Umar Farooq." So he consoled her and said, "My sister, when you come to the Amir al-Mu'mineen, you will see me there." My plea to you, my young friends, is by the grace of Allah, I've had the opportunity to actually see this firsthand. This work this charity work, my friends, believe me, it's not for the weak-hearted. Believe me, it's not for the weak-hearted. These are just pictures which you're seeing here. But you know, and I would advise this for everyone, go and see with your own eyes. And see the way people are suffering. This is why I said it's not for the weak-hearted, because your heart will not, if it's not made out of stone, it's so possible that you might even collapse and die of a heart attack. When you see children clinging onto you, begging for a morsel, and then you think back, you know what? By the grace of Allah, every morning, look how Allah has blessed me. My children, they have so much to their disposal. They have, whether it's cornflakes, they have biscuits, they have bread. This is just for the breakfast, and never mind the other meals that we eat during the day. And here, you can see people, collapsing and dying because they don't even have a morsel. We are so fortunate. Look, Allah's blessings in the country. What don't we have? What don't we have? We have everything. It's just so sad that we don't have time to actually reflect and look at the blessing of Allah upon us. There's one thing that I want to tell you, which my brothers have not told you before. My friends, تِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ كَمَا تُدِينُ تُدَانُ. Today by the grace of Allah you are well and you have food to eat. And today your sister is dying or committing suicide because she has no milk or food to feed her child. Tomorrow it's so possible that Allah turns the table. Allah turns the table. Just as Allah is testing our brothers there today, what guarantee have we got that Allah won't test us tomorrow? And tell me, my young friend, how would you feel knowing that you have over 1 billion brothers and sisters, yeah? And there is not one that is there to respond